how the new 2022 F1 rules aim to stop innovation. When it comes to the upcoming F1 season, we're heading into unknown waters with the amount of changes that have occurred with the rulebook. This, of course, on one hand gives us great excitement that we could see a completely shaken up grid order and, fingers crossed, some much closer racing to go along with it. However, the concern is that with these brand spanking new set of regulations, one team could find a lovely little loophole to fly right through and dominate when we hit round 1 in Bahrain. Now, one thing that gives me confidence that we won't see this is due to one of the men in charge, Brawn. For those that have watched F1 for quite some time, you'll remember back in 2009 when Brawn was in charge of Brawn GP. It's kind of a giveaway in the name, isn't it? After taking over from Honda, who were leaving the sport. He managed to miraculously win the title after his team came up with an innovation known as the double diffuser, which gave them a huge advantage for enough of the season to clinch the title. Both with his time at Ferrari and Brawn, Ross knew how to push rules to the very limit and exploit those grey areas that could be taken advantage of. Having him now in charge means that he's wise to a lot of the tricks and has even said in an interview with the New York Times that F1 went through a rule-busting phase to try and break the rules and find the loopholes. He said, "Our group spent some time looking at the sensitivities of the different areas to see where there could be some scope left for the teams to evolve their designs and change their designs." A lot of F1 teams are also under the impression any wacky idea which exploits a grey area in the regulations will just get banned relatively quickly anyway. Mercedes in 2020 created an innovation known as DAS, dual axis steering, which they were allowed to use until the end of the season before it was banned. The understanding is that this will no longer be the case in 2022, and the FIA will step in much quicker to remove things like this. Is that a good or bad thing for the sport? F1 is known for being the pinnacle of motorsport due to the engineering brilliance behind each team, but restricting them on what they can do with the car should keep the field closer together. So it's better for the racing and entertainment aspect, but maybe not so much in celebrating what masterpieces F1 teams can create. This video is brought to you by Elgato, our official streaming partner. So if you are interested in streaming, creating YouTube content, or making a podcast, you should really have a look and see what they have to offer. I'm using their Elgato Wave 3 to record this very voiceover, their Stream Deck Mark II for managing any live streams I do seamlessly, and their Facecam for, you guessed it, capturing high quality video. Check out all the products they have to offer over on their website by clicking the link in the description below. Clearly, there's a huge incentive for F1 as a company to close as many of these potential loopholes as possible, because a close championship fight and no runaway winner is great for the commercial aspect of the sport. Not only is Brawn keeping an eye out on teams doing sneaky designs, but there are also some rules enforced that restrict teams from getting too crazy with their creations. One of these is the updating for use of spec parts for 2022. These include the gearbox, fuel system, and some aerodynamic parts such as the T-tray at the front of the car floor. Standardized components are now divided into 5 groups from 2022, and regulations call for them to be in place until 2024, which again limits innovation for teams. Let me give you an example of this. The 2022 AlphaTauri is planning on using the gearbox, hydraulics and rear suspension from the 2022 Red Bull. They'll be one of 5 teams running a customer gearbox alongside Haas, Alfa Romeo, Aston Martin and Williams, who are taking the Mercedes gearbox for the first time. We also made a video on wheel covers recently, which is also a spec part which doesn't allow teams to do anything fancy with them. If you want to know more about this, click the video on screen now or in the description. There you have it, an insight into how F1 teams will really struggle to come up with some crazy ideas for their 2022 F1 car. Are you a fan of limiting the team's creativity? Let us know in the comment section below.